Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. When you need medical care in East Tennessee, Tennova Healthcare is always nearby with hospitals in Jefferson City, Morristown, Newport, La Follette, Jamestown, Cleveland, and 3 locations in Knoxville, Powell, downtown, and Turkey Creek. Trust the team I trust. Tennova Healthcare, Tennova.com to learn more. All right. 2 questions in kind of a hot read segment here. I'll start with Chuck and Mike Strange. Yes. We'll start that way and work this way. Butch Jones confirmed at SEC Media Days that he's prepared to go with the 2-quarterback system. His quote, "I think playing time is earned, so if both players earn their right to play, we'll play both quarterbacks. It's a good problem to have." Is it a good problem to have?
Yes, it's a good problem to have. Ask Florida State in 1998 if they didn't wish they had 3 quarterbacks that were good enough to play. I think it's always good. I mean, look at Tennessee's history. How many times has a quarterback gone through a season without getting injured? So I think yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree. And the reason is, look who you're trying to replace. You're trying to replace one of the most productive quarterbacks in school history, and who made a lot of plays on his own. And there's different enough skill set in who you have.
To me, that's the key.
And that's the key. And it also is competition at that position. The more competition you have, I think it makes you a better football team.
I'm not a fan of a 2-quarterback system, except in one condition. They are 2 different styles of quarterbacks, to where you're giving the defense a change-up throughout the game. You know, okay, now we're ready. I believe Philip Fulmer referenced this recently, talking about the year 2004 when it was freshman Eric Ainge, freshman Brent Schaefer. You've been going Schaefer a couple of series. Now Ainge comes in. And they go, okay, here's what we're going to do with Ainge. Then you go back to Schaefer. It's, oh, wait, now we got to do this because Schaefer's in there. I don't have a problem with if you get 2 different styles of quarterback. And that's why I'm going to be so interested to see Garantano actually use his wheels a little bit against Georgia Tech, something we weren't able to see. Well, all we got was an orange and white game, but when there's no contact, you don't even see his legs.
And to Mike's point, in 2004, it ended up being Rick Clausen playing in the SEC championship game. They needed 3 quarterbacks, and nowadays you do need that depth. Correct. Yeah, and a very good bowl victory over A&M.
I don't have a problem with having good quarterbacks on the roster. I'm like a lot of people who cringe when they think of a 2-quarterback system, but there are exceptions. There are exceptions. Josh and Mike, Mike. John Currie was asked at a Big Orange Caravan stop this week what would be a good season for Tennessee. Here's what he had to say about Butch Jones, about the program. As an athletic director, I think you've got to be really careful about ever evaluating based on specific records or things that can be kind of arbitrary. That's a funny-looking ball, and it bounces lots of directions. What I'm always looking at is what's the overall state of our program with the organization, the enthusiasm, the momentum. If you look at those things, we're right at the top. We've obviously been in a period of rebuilding under Coach Jones. We've had extraordinary progress and a bunch of wins over the last couple of years, some big wins, and I know we're going to continue to move forward. How do you translate that? If Butch Jones is wondering what's John Currie saying about me in the season, how do you translate it for him?
Well, my translation is one that John Currie's not going to be tied into anything specific, and I don't think he should tie himself into anything specific. While he's still offering support and encouragement for what Butch Jones has done, but the future could go a number of different ways, and I think John Currie's waiting to see what will happen. We've gone through a bunch of scenarios on this show for how 8-4 could play out, 7-5 could play out, 9-3 or better is a really nice season, I think. But John Currie's waiting to see what happens before he makes any kind of specific decision.
Yeah. Translator for Butch Jones.
Well, you know, Doug Dickey used to say that Tennessee coaches are evaluated on what they do against Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And last year, Butch Jones took 2 out of 3. Now, I'm not saying he's got to take 2 out of 3 this year. I do think he needs to beat one of his rivals and beat the teams he's supposed to beat. Avoid that loss to Vanderbilt. Take care of business against South Carolina at home. Keep 100,000 in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, you're judged by Alabama, Florida, and Georgia so long as you don't lose to Vanderbilt or Kentucky. Right. You know, that'll erase some of the good wins.
Doug Dickey also said you've either got to be playing for championships or gaining on it. And I think that's what John Currie was saying.
I think they have gained on it, though. If you look at where the program was when he took it over and where it is now, I know last year was a disappointment, but they've gained on it. The question is, John Currie seems to believe they're going to continue to gain on it. That's the key.
That makes me wonder if Butch Jones' seat may not be as hot as some people are saying.
I don't think it is.
I don't either. Because of the overall aspects.
Yeah, I just don't think John Currie wants to come in year one and fire a football coach and have to hire one, and then all of a sudden people are looking at your job. All right, you hired this guy and it either worked or didn't work.
Right.
I mean, he just left Kansas State where people didn't like his hire of Bruce Weber. So
we'll see.
I'd say he would prefer not to make any moves, but we'll see. Speaking of John Currie, I'll ask him that when he's on our show, August 6th. Right there, UT's athletic director kind enough to join us August 6th. It'll be part one-on-one interview, part panel discussion, and we'll do one goofy segment. We always do. A few years ago, I think the first show we had Bruce Pearl on, I did something where we gave him some bizarro questions just to let you get to know the guy a little bit. It was well received, so we'll do that same kind of thing here with Mr. Curry. That'll be August 6th. Hey, the SEC media has spoken. Did they get their picks right? And were any Vols left off the first team All-SEC squad that should have been on there? Come on back on the Sports Source. We'll discuss.